Hello, and welcome back to the land of the seven suns with Fishy Plant Man as your host. I've made a couple of changes to the female tank, as I'm calling it here. One change is I've put a sponge filter on the intake. I've noticed since I put the two fish in the tank, one has surprisingly just kind of disappeared. The little one. I think you might be able to get ahead of me there. So I put an intake sponge down there on the intake. So if that's what happened, we've got a fix for it. The other thing I did is I turned down that filter because it's actually stronger than the filter just like it on the 55, but that filter's a bit bigger. Okay, yeah, that filter has its own problems, but it's bigger, and this one had more power. It was pushing the sand away from the bottom, and it was pushing the larger, hopefully female fish, because it's, the female tank, it was pushing her around. So I thought, well, that's not good. It's got flow control, so I just turned the flow down, probably by at least half. So those are the two things I did to the filter. It's kind of hard to see the UD. This was the undesirable tank, where I was going to keep undesirable fish that couldn't be sold. It's kind of turned into a breeding fish for profit type of a project. But I think because I can't have the complete setup, because it's not breeding fish for profit kind of makes sense, but that's not really what I'm doing. Is what I'm really doing is, got a project to make my own fish, basically. Build the fish. It's not build the bear, it's build the fish. So yeah, this will be the female tank. The one above it's the male tank. And then the big 55 is the breeding tank. So because she has made it this long, I think the initial problem has indeed sorted itself. And I don't think she's as active now because it's possible that she's the only fish in there. Had the little one been eaten by the filter. Most likely scenario, but I've got a fix for that. So I'm going to go ahead and slowly bring more females to the tank. Soon as possible, I want to get, at least one more in there. Because I think the tank is fine. It can house fish. I think we just had an unfortunate accident, and the little one was eaten by the filter. So I'll start bringing the females that are big enough to this tank. Basically, if I think I can sex them, they will be sorted into their appropriate tank. They should be big enough not to be sucked up by intake, but I did notice the gaps in that intake tube were rather large, and that could have happened. I don't know if I'll put one on the male tank or not. If I do, I'll have to buy more because my overflow supply has ran out. I had 2. Now they're both used. The one on the 55 has to be on that filter because babies will get sucked up intake tubes when, day or 2 old. They got to get some age to them. So that one's got to be on there. This one's on here now that I think it's happened. I'm preventing it. But those were my 2 sponges. So I've either got to do something else or buy new sponges if I want one on the 3rd tank as well. Okay, so them are the physical changes to the tank. The last change is the light. Now, those plants are not doing particularly well. I would not rate them at a 1 on my little scale. I guess that scale needs a name. The Fishy Plant Man scale. But they're not ranking at a 1 yet. I do believe I see growth, but I also see, a lot of die-off, sad leaves. If I had to rank them, I think I'll probably put them somewhere between a 0.3 and a 0.5. There does appear to be some new growth, but the die-off still seems pretty extreme too. So, the light, I believe the light is probably the one thing that's keeping them going as well as they are. But these baby fish have never had an aquarium light in their life. Which, 3-4 months old, the older ones. But anyway, if they do go to a pet store, the fish that don't continue it through the breeding program, I gotta do something. So if they, do go to a pet store or much of anywhere, it's likely the person is going to want lights on their tank. Well, at least the females should be used to it. Because, the female tank has lights. But the lights are really for the plants. One light there, and it's for the plants, because I don't think the plants would be doing as well as they are without it. However, when I put new fish in, I will leave them with the dark lighting for 24 hours before I start the white light, the more intense white light. So, trying to adjust myself, and it's hard to keep the phone steady while doing that. Every time fish go in, they will have what I'm referring to as a dark day. There is a light on the tank, but it's the blue light. It's less intense, so I'll call it a dark day. Just the blue light. And then the following day, I'll turn the white light on along with the blue, and it's a white with a lot of blue. But I'm not going to put fish in every day. I'm going to give them a chance to adjust before putting more in. Not to mention, I'm going to give the plants a chance to have, at least 24 hours, maybe 42 hours. That's 2 days, right? 42 hours. I'm not going to do the math. It should be 42. Yeah, at least one day with bright light again before going back to, and then they can, adjust that way. Kind of get used to, some light before the intense light. And I think that pretty much covers the changes to the fish. Now I'm going to work on getting, at least one more female in there. Maybe a maximum of 3. Just to kind of, keep things slow. I did somehow nuke this tank, and I do want to make sure it's recovered before getting crazy about adding fish to it. And even then, I don't want to add enough fish that it shocks the biological filtration of the tank. So, yeah, I don't ever want to put a whole lot of fish in and shock the system all at once. Was that the little... I can see, you probably can't see the female somewhere out, but I can see her. She's out and about, but hard to see one juvenile fish in a 10-gallon tank. But she is in there, I assure you. I'm watching her now, over top of the phone. Okay. Talk to you next time.